Hello, and thanks for joining me on our first lecture on masking, and probably the most important. We're going to have a little bit of fun learning about the concept of masking, but before we even get into masking, I want to go over some Photoshop basics so that you guys can easily follow along with me. So here is my cursor in the middle of the screen. Now, the first thing I want you to pay attention to is, do your menus over here on the right look like my menus? If they don't, please back up and watch my lecture on your workspace settings so that our screens match. The other thing that I want you to take a look at is your cursor an arrow like mine? If it isn't, please hit V. Now my computer will probably get mad. Yep, my computer got mad because I'm already in V, and that stands for move or selection. So it's up here on our toolbar. If you'd like to zoom in and zoom out, what I'd like you to do is hit Command if you're on a Mac, or Control if you're on a PC. Hold that key down and then hit 0 at the same time. Sorry. So Command 0 or Control 0 does a zoom all. And right next to your 0 button, you'll see a minus on your keyboard and a plus. By hitting the minus, you zoom out, and by hitting the plus, you zoom in. Now please remember, hit Control or Command the whole time that you're doing the plus or minus. And then if you get zoomed out too much or too little, hit Command 0 to bring you right back. And another shortcut you can use is hold your Alt key down. And on your roller ball on your mouse, go ahead and scroll down, and you can see that it zooms out, or if you roll up or scroll up, it zooms in. So find a nice comfortable workspace so that you see your screen well and easily. Get that adjusted for me. And again, make sure you're on move, and we'll get started from there. And remember, at any point, if you need to pause the lecture and then come back to me, please do. There will be a couple points where I will kind of call out when you guys should go ahead and pause. So one thing to really take notice of, because again, like 80 or 90% of questions from this class are derived from the layer control. So looking at my screen, not yours, what layer is selected or current right now in my file? Hopefully you said neither one of them. Okay, what about now? Do you see that layer 2 is a lighter gray? So right now, layer 2 is the current or selected layer. If I click on layer 1, now that's the current or selected layer. Another trick, if you hold the Shift key down and click on another layer, you can select multiple layers. In our last exercise, if you remember from that video, we use the Shift button to grab my head and attach it to my dream body as I moved across campus. I'm going to go ahead and click off of that. And while we're talking about current layers, let's also talk about naming layers. Now in this class, we are going to have dozens of layers in a file, and it's going to be too hard to decipher between like layer 1 and layer 2. So let's go ahead and click on layer 1 and take your cursor and make sure it's over the name of the layer, and then double click and you'll see that it highlights it in blue, and just start typing. You know, you can hit delete or backspace to clear it out, but really you can just start typing. And I want you to rename layer 1 to Scratcher or Scratcher Layer, either one. Whoa, I can't spell. Remember, this is a Photoshop class, not a spelling class, thank goodness. Okay, and then under layer 2, do that same thing. Remember, cursor has to be on the name. If you double click outside of it, it goes somewhere we don't want. So I'm going to hit cancel, double click on the name, and then just start typing. I will call this cover, enter. Okay, and it's really important that you guys make sure that you are working on the right layer. So we've got our cover, we've got our scratcher layer, which consists of some hidden gold and a mask. So this is a mask that I have pre-created for you. in our next set of exercises and our next lecture, you're going to learn how to create the mask on your own. But for this one, to teach you just the concept of how a mask works, I've created it for you. So go ahead and make sure you're on the scratcher layer. And then after that, go ahead and bring your cursor over to your workspace. Okay, so make sure scratcher layer is the one that's highlighted. Hit B for brush for me. And when you do, you should see some sort of a circle as your cursor. Now, if you see something that looks like this, like crosshairs, please make sure that caps lock is off. Now, if you have caps lock on, again, it shows a different cursor. It shows a target point. But if caps lock is off, you can actually see a preview of what your brush looks like. So if you want your brush to match mine, the easiest way of getting our brushes to edit or to be the same, in this case, go ahead and right click and it'll take you to a new properties menu. So my brush is under the general brushes and it's the soft round pressure opacity, and I'm at 175 pixels. And you can use the slider to change the pixels, or you can manually enter the number 175. And then when you're done, just go ahead and click off of there. Let me hit Control Z because I already started. And after that, we are going to start masking. One more thing while we're here talking about brushes. If you look at your keyboard, right above the return key, you'll see a slash. And then just to the left of your slash, you'll see some brackets. So if you click on those brackets, the right bracket makes your brush bigger and the left bracket makes your brush smaller. So again, lots of Photoshop basics while we're here. Okay, so play with that as well. And then the other thing, the other basic that I'd love to go over with you is how to easily change your paint color from black to white. So again, I'm going to move my cursor over here to the tools, and you see that by default your colors are white and black, or it could be black and white. If you hit the X button, like I'm doing right now, do you see that it switches the colors? So black on top, white in the back, white in front, black in the back. So this main square that we see up front, that's our main color. And we want it to be white. So again, in a nutshell, the brackets make your brush bigger or smaller. Caps lock on changes your brush preview to a target. And then X lets you go between all of the colors. So if you'd like, if you have a notebook, you can start writing down these shortcuts. Remember, B got us to the brush tool. B is in brush. V is the move command. So let me go back to B. And just double check to make sure you're on the scratcher layer. And take a look at my screen. What color is my main color? Okay, it should be white. It's not. And then another quick question. What key should I hit to quickly change that color? Hopefully you thought to yourself X. So if I hit X, it switches it. And what we're going to do now is think of this as like a scratcher card. Okay, we are scratching away, and you can see that we are actually painting on our mask. Black is invisible, our cloak of invisibility, but white brings it back. So we're getting rid of the transparency here. So what I would like you to do is go through this whole image and try to find how many pieces of gold I have hidden. Essentially go through your scratcher card. Now, one other trick for you. So here in our preview, you can see what we're doing to our mask. If it helps, you can also, again, right above your return key, there's a slash. If you click on the slash, what that does is all of the areas that are masked, which again is the black color, so you can see that now everything that's black here is red here, it shows you a preview. So if you're not sure if you have gone over it yet to uncover it, you can hit the slash to see that preview, and then you can hit the slash again to get rid of it. So go ahead and have fun with this legal gambling. Go through your scratcher card. Find out first how many pieces of gold I've hidden. You'll let me know in the comments of your exercise. And then after you've done this, what I want you to do is go ahead and bury your gold again. So you're going to switch it back to black and just bury the gold again. So I don't want to see this whole area get covered up. I just want you to bury the pieces for me. So again, once I turn off the preview, it'll look like a white piece. But when I look at your Photoshop mask, I can see that you've only covered up the pieces of gold. That's what I'll be looking for. So have fun finding your treasures, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.